Hello and welcome to Mr. Benya Has Flipped. Today's video lesson is video lesson number 1. We'll be talking about Unit 1, Concept 1, which has to do with the domain and the range. When we talk about domain and the range, we have to start talking about the relation first. What's a relation? Basically, a relation is a set of ordered pairs. And you can represent a relation in several different ways. One of them is being set notation. Now notice all of these are the ordered pairs. Okay, and these little curly bracket thingies here, that tells you it's a set. Okay, so set notation is 1. This is a mapping diagram. Okay, now when we're mapping something to something, see all those arrows there, you see that X is being mapped onto Y. Okay, now this is the X, this is the Y. Okay, now you can also call the X the input, you can call it the domain, Y is the output or the range. Okay, you can also use a table. So you have the X, Y values again, and you have the pairs that go here. These are ordered pairs. Okay, -3, -4, -2, -2, etc. You can also use an equation. Now, for this case, what we're doing is we're limiting the X value to only these numbers here, from -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2, so that we can get the values that we're looking at here. Okay, we can also use a graph. Now this graph is not connected. It's a bunch of independent, not connected points. This is called a discrete graph. Okay, we're going to look at another kind of graph that's connected and you have lines on there. That's called a continuous graph. This is a discrete graph. Alright, now let's talk about domain. Definition. Definition of domain is something that may be familiar to you by using a memory device. You have DIXI, D-I-X-I, and the D stands for domain. The first I stands for the input, and the X is the X value, and the I, the second I, is independent. So if DIXI is used to remember domain, what is used to remember range? Yes, it's ROID. Remember that old friend ROID. R stands for range, O stands for the output, Y is the X values, and D is dependent values. Okay, now first example. You have the domain and the range for the relation below. Now when you're given something like this, remember, these first numbers here, these are going to be your X numbers. Whoops, let's try that again. These are going to be given, these are your X values, okay, and right here your X values, and these are your Y values. So we want to find the domain and the range. Alright, so we're going to look at the domain first. The domain is all the X values, and we write down each individual X value from 1920 all the way to 2000. So the range is going to be the Y values. These are the Y values right here. Okay. Now notice the number 2 was only written one time. If a value repeats itself, just write it down one time, and that's it. Okay. And put them all in order, domain and the range, from smallest to greatest. Okay, example number 2. Give the domain and the range for the ordered pair, or the relation shown. Now first I want to do is write these down as a set of ordered pairs. So each one of these points is represented here as a set of ordered pairs. So the domain is going to be all the X values, from -2, -1, all the way to 2. Okay, and remember this is a discrete graph because they're individual points. So it means that the range is going to be all the Y values. But look what happens here, okay? I put the graph, the range in order also. So these are the, even though they're written from biggest to greatest here, okay, right here from biggest to greatest, right here I write them from smallest to greatest. That's just the way it's written, okay? Okay, right, a mapping diagram is a set of ordered pairs. Well, the ordered pairs go from 2 to A, 2 to B, and 2 to C. Okay, that's a set of ordered pairs. Now, find the domain and the range of the graph. This is called a continuous graph. Notice this is not connected. Alright, so this is called continuous. The other one was called discrete because they were not connected. When they are connected like this and you get a line, that's called a continuous graph. Okay, so the domain is going to be going from the smallest value here on the x-axis. Now the smallest value on the graph is the furthest left value. So it's going to be -2. And the infinity part is because of the arrow right here, and it just kind of goes on forever. That's the infinity part. You're going this way to infinity. Alright, now to get the range, you're looking at the y values. So the lowest y value that this graph takes is -3. And the highest, well, that's still going up that way towards infinity. So it's going to be from -3 to infinity. Now in the second video, video lesson number 2, you're going to get more examples. Not more examples, so look at that video next. Remember, you should be pausing the videos so you can take notes and so you could see what's going on there. Okay? Then this has been video lesson number 1, and I'll see you in class.